All right, ready to rip? Yeet. Excuse me. Welcome back, everybody, to the Between the Stitches podcast, a baseball-only show, part of the Phenomenal Fan Media Group. My name is Ryan. His name is Jared, and we've got a pretty stellar episode for you. Baseball is firing on all cylinders. We've gone through not technically a full month of games, but we are into the month of May, and we were going to talk about the monthly awards that were given out by Major League Baseball. I'll give you a nice standings update. Talk about the balls themselves. There's been some issues with the baseballs. We will discuss. And how long do you give a guy before he's not that good? Let's talk about it.
Cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today. At the ball game, a wonderful ball game today. Wow!
All right, Jared, we are here. We are rumbling through the baseball season. We're getting into the nice, juicy, thick part of the season. A lot of people would argue the end of the year is the most important. August, September, the dog days. I think it's the earlier part of the year, April, May, because as guys start to go down with injury, a lot of these games get out of hand for some teams, or they end up losing in heartbreaking fashion. You're like, well, it's only April. Like, every game matters. Every game is crucially important. And recapping the games that had just gone on over the weekend will tell you exactly what I mean. Some good examples of teams that should be performing better, but dropped some games early. The Red Sox lose 2 out of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles over the past weekend. The Giants take 2 out of 3 from the Nationals, which is fine, right? Except for the Nationals are fucking horrible. And if I'm the Giants, going into that series, anything but a sweep is less than ideal. The Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. I am a Padres fan, and I was disappointed, very disappointed, that you don't come out of Pittsburgh with a sweep. So it's going to come down to the end of the season, and the Padres are going to be in September, and they're going to be 2 games behind the Giants, 4 games behind the Giants, and we're going to say, man, we're right there. We're so close. We didn't quite get to the top, or we didn't make it. What about that one fucking game we lost to the Pirates at the end of April? You know what I mean? I think it's important that, you know?
Dodgers lost 2 to the fucking Diamondbacks.
They did. Earlier, last week.
Yeah, it was last week. I don't know if I think it might have been Thursday. They lost 2 or 3 to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. Tigers beat them once. You know, so it's kind of similar.
So you're coming out of, you're between the Tigers and the Diamondbacks
and the Orioles taking the Red Sox down. You know,
you're going 3-3. That's like, it's just, I don't know. That's baseball. I mean, baseball is really a game of like anybody can beat anybody on
for sure,
like
for sure,
more than any other sport.
100%, 100% agree. But still, even another one, Jared, D-backs. By the way, we're talking about, just mentioned the D-backs. D-backs, the Cardinals take 2 out of 3 from the D-backs. Cardinals should probably be sweeping a series like that, but they didn't. In other words, another series, Angels take 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. Cleveland, I think 2 out of 3 from Oakland. Tampa Bay drops 2 out of 3 to the Minnesota Twins. Twins look pretty good. I think the Braves took 2 out of 3. I'm kind of just running through this list here. The Mets are hot. The Yankees swept the Royals. Cubs and Brewers. Brewers took 2 out of 3. Rockies swept the Reds. Leads us into our standings for the current situation in baseball. The evening of May 3rd, 2022. Looking at it right now, the best record in all of baseball. New York Yankees, 17-6 for the Yanks. Woo! 10-game win streak for the New York Yankees. They are unstoppable right now.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Gleyber Torres is playing better.
And you said that. You said that.
That's one note. Yeah, that's one notable thing. As like if Gleyber Torres doesn't play well for them, they're not going to be as good as they can be. Anthony Rizzo's really fucking taking advantage of that short porch there.
Yep.
But it just in general, he's actually batting pretty well. But some of his cheapies that he had. Some of the cheapies that he's had at Yankee Stadium were
oh yeah, they were ugly.
They're funny. But you know what? That's only home games. I get it. Blah blah blah. But at the same time, the team's playing well, and I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna I don't know. I'm waiting for them to fall apart slightly. I think they're a little bit hotter. They're gonna have to regress.
Oh, for sure.
Towards the mean a little bit. So I just don't see them. I mean, anytime you go 10-0 during the season, your fucking record's gonna look sexy. So
yeah,
it's gonna look a lot sexier than it did 10 games before. So Toronto's right there, a couple games behind.
Yep.
Where you and I are real high on Toronto. I think they
still high in Toronto.
Really,
yeah,
me too. I still don't think they've played their best baseball yet.
No, their pitching has been horrible, really bad. And they're still 15-9, second place in the AL East. A couple of surprises, Jared. Minnesota Twins find themselves in first place with a 3.5 game lead in the AL Central. 14-9. The Minnesota Twins, I believe. Hold on, we tweeted it out earlier. The Twins have the 5th best team ERA in baseball. Not sure anybody pegged that one. The Angels are leading the American League West. 15-9 for the LA Angels. 2.5 games over the Astros, who are 12-11. The Astros will come back up towards the top. The Angels will cool off a bit. But Angels might make the playoffs. That would be cool.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that, where we think the Angels they should be good. The team's fucking ridiculous in terms of star power every year. So
of course
they should be good. So it doesn't really surprise me to see them playing well. I mean, you have a roster full of MVP-ish people. So
yep. Yes, Angels lead the West. The Mets lead the NL East with the second best record in baseball. That's 17-8. They've played 2 more games than the Yankees. They've lost 2 more games than the Yankees. They both have 17 wins. New York. The fucking Empire City, Jared, is shitting on people. I don't know if it's good or bad for baseball, because it sucks when there's the East Coast media bias and everyone's just dry humping the Yankees and the Mets. But they kind of deserve it right now. So good for the Mets. 17-8. The other shocker in that division, second place in the National League East right now, the Miami Marlins at 12-10. The only other team in that division above 500. Are the Marlins going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Is it kind of interesting to see them be above 500 22 games into the season? Yeah, it's really interesting. They're pitching the shit out of the ball. Pablo Lopez right now is the Cy Young. He won, we'll get into the awards later, but he won National League Pitcher of the Month. So, I mean, good for them. NL Central, Milwaukee 15-8, leading that division, a game and a half over the Cardinals, kind of exactly what we projected in that division. Brewers and Cardinals battling it out. And in the NL West, it's the best division in baseball right now, Jared. All 5 teams have more than 10 wins. 14-7 for the Dodgers, 15-8 for the Padres, 14-8 for the Giants, 13-9 for the Rockies, and 11-13 for the Snakes, Jared. The old Rattlers. The Rattlers. They're 11-13, not bad for the D-backs. Had them a lot lower than that. Again, 24 games into the season. But like you mentioned,
Merrill Kelly, they've had a couple guys that have been pitching really well. Who's
Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen's been throwing the ball well. He fucking throws hard, man.
Yeah, he's good.
Throws hard, and he's got a nasty breaking ball.
They picked up the pitching coach from Houston, Jared, Brent Schramm, old guy. Might be doing a little bit of work for him, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe stick a little something on their gloves. Who knows?
Yeah. NL West is going to be a good division. It's going to be a fun battle. I'll tell you one team that's not going to make the playoffs this year, Jared. The fucking Reds. 3-19.
It's not good.
3-19.
That's one of the worst starts I think I've ever seen.
Jared, they could win 16 games in a row and they'd be at 500. 16 games in a row and they'd be at 500. 3-19. That is like, I mean, it's not going to happen, but I think they're on pace to go like 15 and fucking 140. Like, not exactly, but they're on pace to be historically the worst team in baseball. Will they get a little bit better? Maybe. I don't fucking know. Joey Votto's looked like shit to start the year. Everything will kind of start to even out and balance out, but that's where we stand with the standings right now. Speaking of, I don't know, baseball, I guess. The balls, Jared. We all love balls. I love balls. I don't know about you, Jared, but the balls are always on the top of my mind. Just baseballs, footballs, basketballs.
They're just bouncing around in my head.
They are always in my thoughts, balls, and they're also in everyone's thoughts, specifically the pitchers this year, Jared. There's been some complaints about the baseballs in the league so far this year. A lot of pitchers coming out vocal about the inconsistencies between how the baseballs feel, how they look, how they fucking smell, everything. Chris Bassett was one of them, a pitcher for the New York Mets, came out, was pretty vocal about it. Initially came up because the Mets hitters are getting drilled at a historic rate. Like, they've gotten hit by like 25 pitches in 24 games. People are like, yo, what is going on? And Chris Bassett's like, well, it's because, like, it sucks to see our guys getting drilled, but it's because the baseballs are bullshit. He said, I'm a pitcher. I'll get a ball to start the game. I'll throw 4 pitches with it. I love it. The guy fouls it off. I get a ball back from the umpire. I'm like, what is this bullshit? Doesn't feel the same. Doesn't look the same. And Jared and I were both pitchers, and we can say a lot of times people are like, oh, these pitchers are just finding every way to complain, this and that. It is 100% a real thing that the balls could feel distinct. Like, it could be millimeters of difference in seam height, in tackiness, and whatever you want to say. And we could go, whoa. We could literally, whoa, holy shit, that's different. You know?
I would say like there's a lot to be said about it. Like, even like at different times of the season, like being a Colorado guy, being a Colorado pitcher, when it like before when like that winter air is still out there and it's sucking the moisture out of everything.
Oh yeah.
One, your skin's drier, the ball's slicker, it's dry. It feels dry. 2, we would fucking throw bullpens. We'd throw bullpens with these balls, but like we'd play catch just so we wouldn't ruin every ball on the turf just because you'd turn them black after 3 sessions or whatever. To warming up 2 or 3 days. You're throwing flat grounds and shit, and you're just throwing a slider in the dirt or whatever it is. You kind of mess the balls up like that as well. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said about the way it feels. I have a theory for it though. It's right about because I'm right about everything. But, I think that what happened was Major League Baseball, when they a couple years ago got called out for tightening up the seams. Remember that?
Yeah, 2017 was like the
Yeah,
World Series is
the
when they tried it, and the World Series, the balls were literally just launching out of the stadiums.
George Springer was hitting balls over the lights.
Carlos Correa was hitting balls. He was clipping the bottom side of the ball, and it was just landing in the Crawford boxes. And pitchers were like, "What?" And then 2019 was the bad. That was like bad.
Well, that was when all the home runs. So I have a theory, is that fucking Manfred and all the owners got together this last year, and they're like, "Here, listen, we tightened up every ball. We literally got called out by the entire world for it because there was historic amounts of home runs. How about this? We're just gonna take 3 different types of balls: one tight one dead ball,
and
one
normal.
just normal one, and we're just gonna mix them. And it's gonna be like a random number generator in MLB The Show. And you're just gonna you're gonna hit good contact,
and it's not going to go anywhere.
And it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to get caught. It's going to get caught at the warning track like this. And then you're going to have another guy that's going to go perfect, and it's not, and it's going to go to the warning track. And then you're going to have a good okay, and it's going to be fucking 413 feet.
Yep.
Because every third ball is different.
I've seen that. I've seen that. That's kind of like been how it is.
Is that a theory? Is that a theory that they're saying?
No, not people aren't really saying that. I'm just saying more generally, like the kind of the page we mention all the time, Would It Dong or whatever, or like another one. Would It Dong isn't the best because mostly it's like Would It Dong based on the exit or the distance that it traveled. But I've seen a lot of balls this year, Jared, where it's like exit velo 107, launch angle 34 degrees, 390. And then in comparison, people will draw the exact same exit velo and launch angle, and the ball will go 415. People are like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know if it's true or not, but what I do know is that as a pitcher and baseball players and those guys play baseball their whole lives, and they know how a baseball is supposed to come off the bat, how it's supposed to feel, how it's supposed to look. I believe the players 1,000% on anything that's like baseball complaint situation.
That's
because
offish.
it's so easy, by the way. It's so easy for the league to manipulate as well. It's so easy.
You know, you want to know what's funny is it happens in like good example I have for recently is like some slow pitch softball. They have old balls that literally feel like you're hitting a fucking
potato
squishy mat. Yeah, it just like you can feel it, and then you'll see the umpire go to his backpack and they'll flip up this bright yellow ball to the pitcher. It's one of the
brand new
ones, still rock solid, doesn't have that rubberiness to it. And that ball will get lost within fucking the next 2 at bats because somebody will just hit a casual fly ball that's normally a fly ball that's hitting off the fence, and it's just and it really is like a ball that's slightly softer, spongier is just going to absorb the impact. It's going to go nowhere. So I'm guessing that's exactly what it is. You have a tighter ball. Yeah, you have 3 different types of baseballs. You have what should just be standard, not fucking messed with. You have one that's slightly manipulated to be a dead ball. And then you have the fucking offensive juggernaut ball.
Yeah.
I almost can guarantee that's what's happening. And that's why Bassett had said exactly what he said. Because I don't fucking know. Sometimes they'll be okay. Sometimes they're dog shit. Sometimes, he's like,
I love it. Yeah.
It's every inning. So it's like, those umpires are reaching into that bucket of a bunch of pearls that look the same, but they don't all feel the same. I fucking guarantee it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And
they probably all look the same too, right? So it's hard to.
No, they look exactly the same.
So it's hard to be like, oh, this. But one thing I will say, and that I don't, the sympathy that I don't have for the pitchers, in some cases only, and I am a pitcher. But if I was a big leaguer and I saw it on a game last night, Jared, a pitcher for the Rays, Ryan Thompson, he's a sidearm slinger. He threw his warm-up pitches, and one of the balls he threw, he bounced. And the catcher flipped it out of play, got him a new one from the umpire, threw it to him. He caught it, and he threw one warm-up pitch with it to the catcher. And the catcher threw it down to second base. Didn't touch the dirt, didn't do anything. Went his hand, a catcher glove, throw down to second in the glove, didn't touch any dirt. Pitcher got the ball back, looked at it, spun it around in his hand, wiggled it up in the air like the umpire, like, I need a new one. Tossed it out of play. They gave him a new ball. He looked at it, rubbed it down and felt it in his fingers and said, nope, and wiggled it and tossed that one out of play. So if you have the luxury to be able to just throw whatever ball you don't like out of play, why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? If you're going to bitch and complain about it, it's like, well, then I get it. I know, I get what you're saying. It's hard to be like every single ball because you could come in 10 straight balls that you don't like. The umpire's going to be like, okay, dude, enough. But I don't feel bad for you. So
isn't there something to be said about that though too? Like the fact that they can just feel through them and just finally be like, oh, this is the one.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. I guarantee. It'd be interesting. We should ask Lucas Gilbreth if we can fucking have him snag us 12 of them. We should fuck around and see if we can put some sort of clamp, like some pressure clamp on them, dude. You want to get some good solid viral content? Let's fuck around some MLB baseballs. Let's cut these fuckers open. Let's take a look because because I guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could take the different balls, mark them 1 through 12, put it in the jugs machine, and don't touch the jugs machine, and just have it dialed up to 100 miles an hour, angled at 30 degrees, and just thump, and have one of them go, and it fucking goes out of the stadium, and then thump, and one of them lands at 380.
Yeah, but
and do it 10 times. Do it 10 times with each ball.
But I think I think the jugs machine's probably not a great example because it's guaranteed it's going to shoot the ball out around that speed. I think a better example is like you need to see it bounce off of something. You need to see another object.
Yeah, there's probably a ton of ways.
Or whatever. See how far different balls come off the wall. And granted that I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fucking scientific way is. We'll have to consult some smart people. We're just a bunch of fucking dumb jocks.
That was actually, Jared, believe it or not, that was my science project when I was at 8th grade. 8th grade teacher, a science teacher, was like, you guys need to do a science project. And my buddies are doing fucking volcano and the fucking all the bullshit. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna do?
So overplayed.
Yeah, volcano. Yeah, it's bullshit. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? The difference between a wood bat and a metal bat. And my teacher's like, that's fine, but you need to be able to test it. Like it has to be variable. You have to eliminate the variables. And so I built this spring loaded. It was imagine a baseball tee, Jared, like you would put a ball on the tee, except it's got a pivoting, rotating, I don't know, piece on the top, and you clamp a baseball bat into it, and then the baseball bat's lined up at 90 degrees, and you pull it back exactly 180 degrees, and you let go, and it spins around and hits the baseball. So my point is, there's some scientific methods that you could try to do, but it's so hard because, dude, the angles of bats are hitting the ball, and the spin rate can affect how far it goes. Like everything can change, the baseball. So I don't know. I believe Chris Bassett. I just am curious, like, what exactly is going on there behind the scenes. So basically, I think one thing to remember is like, just fuck MLB. No, bottom line, fuck the owners, fuck man fraud, and everybody. Speaking of MLB, Jared, before we get into our last topic, we want to talk about the MLB Monthly Awards. Players of the Month. 2022. Let's see. April. Major League Baseball Players of the Month 2022. Logan Gilbert was named the American League Pitcher of the Month. How about these stats, Jared? 22 and a third, 22 strikeouts, 0.4 ERA, 2 earned runs. 2 runs, 1 earned in 22 and a third innings.
Him and Chris Flexen last year were like
good.
They were great. They were top money pitchers. So that means like
value. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
ERA 2021 stat leaders covers MLB leaders. Yeah, those two last year were like they're like coverage is great. If you guys like betting on baseball at all, it's a great thing to look at because like
Yeah.
there's like some strategy shit you can do. Sorry, I won't go spin off too
No,
far.
it's
But
no, it's
there's strategy shit you can do where you can look at things like a team's bullpen ERA and the average if you see like a really shitty bullpen ERA. Speaking of that, really funny. I'm looking at the White Sox lead having the worst ERA in this. This is the postseason last year though. But anyway, you can look at starters average length of like how many innings he's pitching per game. So you can say, okay, he averages fucking 5 2/3, and then his team's bullpen is like a 5.4, which would be like Diamondbacks or Rockies last year.
Yep.
So that's like you look at things like that, and you can kind of like assume over unders. That's what I like to. I think last year I had some success with that for sure, but okay, regular season all MLB statistics. Hurry up. The team bullpen ERA. That's what automatically just happened on my phone. Come on. Here we go.
I think it is important though, like betting or not, like, you know, they always talk about wins and losses as a pitcher. You know, when pitchers don't always get the win or the loss, but there's like stats that show how a team performs, win or lose, when a certain pitcher's on the mound. And I'm certain that, you know, like Pablo Lopez got National League Pitcher of the Month. And let me read his stats real quick. 23 1/3 innings with a .39 ERA. And he led the majors in ERA for the month of April. And he had a scoreless streak of 18 1/3 coming into the month. And it's the first award for both. But both guys went 3-0. So it's like if you pitch good enough, you're going to get the wins. And clearly your team is going to win as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, okay. So Gilbert is that right? I'm just looking at it right now. Gilbert last in the month was number 1 on the list for money pitchers. So what the stat means, if you bet on the Mariners when he starts the game, the team was 5-0. So he won 3 games, but the team was 5-0. So it means he came out and they still managed to win, which means he kept it close. So if you were to bet, I'm assuming this is $100 units, $100 that you would have won. You'd be up 516 right now.
Yeah, that's really good
on Gilbert. Yeah, there was Zach Gallen that we talked about earlier. 3-1 when he starts for the Diamondbacks. 368. It's kind of funny. You get guys like you have Baltimore, which is kind of funny. It's probably and that's because you get Let
me see.
Money line. So.
Players of the month. Okay. Here we go. Jared, players of the month. Pitchers of the month. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Before you say it, last year, Chris Flexen. I think it's Chris, right? Chris Flexen and Logan Gilbert last year in the regular season were number 1 and number 3 in the MLB for if you bet on the Mariners when they started. You'd be on with Flexen 22-9 and Gilbert 16-8 for a total of $2,703.
Yep.
Last year. That's just interesting. It's funny that you said that Gilbert won it.
Yeah. So Logan Gilbert and Pablo Lopez, 2 guys that you definitely probably wouldn't have put your money on to win the first month's pitcher of the months for their respective leagues. Players of the month, Jared. Third baseman is the theme. Jose Ramirez in the American League, Nolan Arenado in the National League. Jose Ramirez, he hit 342 in April, 7 jacks, 28 stakes, 15 XBH, 1133 OPS, 15 extra base hits. It's a lot of fucking extra base hits. 1133 OPS. That is a fucking joke. He led the major leagues in RBI, second in OPS, second in home runs, top 5 in batting average. You know, you can't go wrong with a guy like J-Ram. So Good for Jose Ramirez. Nolan Arenado in April, 375, 5 jacks, 17 stakes, 12 extra base hits, 1125 OPS. He led the league in OPS, third in batting average, tied for second in RBIs, and fourth in home runs. What was interesting for me, Jared? Nolan Arenado got Player of the Month. Okay. It's totally fair. Totally fair, right? Had a good month, played well, put up some offensive numbers, except for I would have given my Player of the Month to Manny Machado. And that's bias, but Machado went 375, 1031 OPS, 4 homers, 16 RBIs, 4 bags. And if you're looking at wins above replacement, Manny Machado's is actually higher than Nolan Arenado. Just saying. But no, good for those guys. Machado's a little bit better, apparently, in the spectrum of WAR. Arenado's still really solid. Great player. Jose Ramirez, Nolan Arenado. And then the relievers of the month, Jordan Romano from the Toronto Blue Jays and Josh Hader from the Pirates. Again, 2 guys that, I mean, you could have picked at least Hader. I don't know about Romano, but Jordan Romano, Jared, this in April, he had 10 saves, the 1.59 ERA, and 11 and a third. And he had 13 punch outs and 11 and a third. Josh Hader, dude, only pitched 9 and a third, but he had 15 strikeouts. He had, his opponent batting average was .067. Good for those guys.
Yeah, it's kind of, what's kind of wild is Chapman
Didn't get it.
Chapman was kind of, yeah, well, he was kind of up there. He had 6 saves. I guess the other guys had stupid numbers too, but Chapman had, it looks like 6 saves, struck out 11, didn't allow a run.
Yeah, the other
0 ERA.
The other guy that I thought the National League reliever of the month, Jared, was going to be Taylor Rogers on the Padres. Actually, he had 9 2/3 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 9 saves, 0 earned runs, 0, and he had 8 strikeouts and 15 batters faced. He just had a really good. Yeah, he had a good. Not 15 batters. He had more than that. He had 34 batters faced. He had 10 punch outs. I just thought it'd be Taylor Rogers, but Josh Hader's a good pick too. So either way, Jared, this will move us on to our last topic. And it's kind of a down topic, unfortunately. But we talked about a lot of these prospects that got called up on opening day. Bobby Witt Jr., Julio Rodriguez, CJ Abrams. I'm probably missing 1 or 2. Oh, Spencer Torkelson. The big guys, big prospects, top 10 guys, whatever, top 2 in their systems. A lot of them came up and a lot of them struggled. They're starting to even out a little bit. Julio Rodriguez is starting to pick it up a little bit. Bobby Witt Jr. is starting to pick it up. Torkelson, they're all starting to come back up a bit. One guy that was a huge prospect, Jared, and he just hasn't done it. Jared Kellnick for the Mariners. Last season,
he's coming off like an injury though, isn't he?
Last season, he played 93 games. He hit 181 with a 615 OPS. This year, he's played 22 games. He's hitting 134 with a 486 OPS. He's played in 115 games. And his career numbers is he's batting 173 with a 594 OPS. 404 at bats. So my question is, Jared, how long do these guys get before it's like, he's not that good?
That is all 100% dependent on the team's investment they put in them.
And their timeline too, I think.
Yeah, their timeline, their investment, and prospects probably coming behind them as well. But Yeah, I don't know. You really want to see a guy like that that's got some hype behind him perform. You really do. One for him himself, because it's like it is shitty to see like a guy like piss away an opportunity once they get up there. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how many at bats they give him. I mean, I think the big thing to remember here is, even though you said 404 at bats, you got to remember that that's not even
Full season.
a full season yet. So it's like, okay, he had a shitty rookie year, so he'll at least get. I don't know. I don't know how long it is until you send a guy.
Yeah, because you're the Mariners, and for them, it's like this is their window. This is their time to win. They want to be winning games. By the way, Jared, Kellnick plays outfield. Julio Rodriguez plays outfield. Mitch Haniger plays outfield. Guess who's coming back from the IL? Kyle Lewis. He plays outfield. Kyle Lewis comes back, slot him in, get Kellnick the fuck out of there. You don't want to send him down again, but you kind of maybe. I don't know. I don't know what you do. It's hard because Kellnick was first round pick, 6th overall. He was their number one prospect. He was a top 10 guy when they called him up, and he just struggled. He struggled right away. Hasn't really found the groove yet. I don't know, what it is exactly. He has a ton of strikeouts, Jared, a ton of strikeouts. He's averaging over a strikeout a game, and he doesn't walk a lot. He has 6 walks. He has 30 punch-outs this year. That's not good. It's not good at all. So, I don't know. We'll see what the deal is with Kellnick. Hopefully, he turns it around, of course, right? Hopefully, he picks it back up. He starts tearing it up again. That would be good for the Mariners, good for the game of baseball. But sometimes, you know what, man? Just doesn't quite line up for guys, unfortunately. And, it is what it is. We can't really do much about it. Just hope for the best. So, looking forward to this weekend. We got some good series this week and this weekend. This week, Jared, Yankees, Blue Jays, Braves, Mets, Dodgers, Giants, Mariners, Astros this weekend. Well,
Mariners, Astros, they're playing right now.
Yeah, Mariners, Astros. No, these are all series that are going on from today through Thursday, and then when we record again on Friday, we'll run through the weekend series. But Mariners, Astros, White Sox, Cubs, little Windy City interleague. Yeah. Angels, Red Sox
have been White Sox have been playing like fucking shit so far.
Yeah, they don't look good.
They won the game. Yeah.
They don't look good, but they won. I don't know. They'll turn it around at some point. So, anyways, that's pretty much going to do it, guys. Kept it nice, short, and sweet for you. We appreciate you guys tuning into the Between the Stitches podcast, part of the Phenomenal Fan Media Group. Follow us on social media at PhenomFam, pretty much anywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check out our website. Check out our blog. Check out our Patreon. Check out our shop. All of it. Because we appreciate the support. Couldn't do it without the support, the listeners, the patrons, if you will. Hopefully you guys will be around for episode number 13, our next episode. And otherwise, Jared, it's been a pleasure as usual. We will catch those guys on the next episode.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo